What's good, y'all? It's Lushi, and I'm currently cooking up a loop. So I'm gonna break down what I already did to it, and then I'm gonna finish it up, bounce it out and make a beat to it on camera. So let's get straight to it. So I start off in Analog Lab with a very simple chord progression. So I start off at A sharp because the melody was originally in A sharp minor. So I start off at the root note, went up to the 5th and just used the semitone right here, and also pitched down the A sharp 1 octave down. So this loop pattern is throughout the whole melody. I just duplicated it over for 4 bars. And for the last 2 bars I just pitched it up 1 octave like this. So really simple. I'm gonna play it without the effects first. So after that I layered it with this preset right here, Crystal Wave, which is in the same bank, and it's the same progression, but I left the last two chords at the same octave as the first 2 ones. So here's what this sounds like. And then I took both of them, routed it to mixer channel 1, EQ'd out some of the low ends, added a portal. I went with a stock preset, it's the Ratio Chaser, and I turned down the mix a lot to like 5% maybe, 10%. And then I added a shaper box with the sidechain preset just to give the melody more movement. So here's what the Analog Labs, the chords sounds like together with the effects on. So after that I went to Analog Lab again and added this little sound effect thing in the same bank. It's called Glass of Fear, and I just put it on like the root notes just to add some textures to the sample. And all I did for effects, I just added an EQ, took out the low ends and some of the highs. And here's what it sounds like. Just to fill up the frequencies and make the sample more like fuller. And finally I wanted to add like more rhythm to the sample. So I found this bell in the same bank. It's called the Artemis Bells, and I just made this simple pattern with it. Starting off at the root note, going up to the 5th and then to the half step and then back, and then just repeating this throughout all 4 bars. But then I messed around with the with the starting note. So at first all these notes was at A sharp and it sounded like this. But then to make it less repetitive and a little bit more interesting, I took these 2, pitched them up here, and took this one down one half step. And then I deleted these, brought these over here, and then this part right here is the same but 1 octave above. So here's how they sound like now. And then for the effects I start off with a Pan Man. Just messing around with the knobs and putting it to this thing in the middle. And after that I added a shaper box, the same preset as I used earlier. So here's how it sounds like with the Pan Man and the shaper box on. So that's it for the first part of the melody. I'm gonna play all these patterns together now and then show you how I flipped it. So after this part, I pressed this button right here and rendered it out as an audio clip. I started off by reversing the sample and then lining it up to the grid. And after that I sliced it in the middle and pressed the stretch button. I highlighted them, dragged them down and duplicated them over. And after that I just changed it to stretch mode. And here's how it sounds now. So here are like that pattern, and I also pitched it down like 2 semitones. So here's how it sounds after that. And after that I routed this reversed melody to the 5th mixer track and I added half time. I dragged down this frequency thing down here and I put this effects to 500 milliseconds, but like all the way to the back. And then I just added EQ to take out some of the low ends. So here's how it sounds like with the effects on. So that's the main part of the melody. After that I wanted like a dark piano, one note hitting at a low octave. So I went to Contact to Noir Pure, the dark preset, just following the root note, because we're in G sharp after I changed the pitch of the sample and all that. And then I routed it here and added a effectrix and applied a reverse effect right here and here, which is here, 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 and here in the piano roll. So I just added these higher notes at the same time as the reverse effect, and they are just the same notes as the root notes, just in different octaves. So here's how it sounds like. And after that, for the last melody, I added this flute, which is the Fairytale Flute from Contact. Pretty simple pattern. I start off with D sharp because the sample is in G sharp, and the D sharp is the 5th of the chord of G sharp minor. So usually, like if you're making a sample in C minor, the F note will sound good, like a starting note for your flutes. Usually it does, but you know, I started off with D sharp and just basically followed my ear and made this pattern right here. So basically this and this is exactly the same. All I added for the second part was these 2 notes right here. And another tip for flutes, make sure you have like some long notes and some short notes, because it like changes up the vibe a lot compared to if we would legato all of these notes. It sounds like this. Compared to this, where some of them are like really short. For the effects on the flute, I just added a stereo imager. So I just boosted the sides and turned down the mids a little bit just to make it fit more with the rest of the sample. So and here's where I am right now, just arranging the sample. I'm gonna EQ out some of the frequencies and mix it a little bit, and then I'm gonna bounce it out and we're gonna make a beat to it. Alright, we're in the new FLP right now, so I'm just gonna start cooking up. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk, but yeah, let's pitch up the sample a little bit because the 808 is not hitting a G sharp, you know? Let's add another roll. Let's add this up here. clap to layer with the snare. Alright guys, so the camera cut out earlier, but I'm gonna play the final beat right now.
Lucy got the sauce, bitch.
So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. You enjoyed the sample cookup and the beat cookup. And yeah, I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one.